Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is another Focus On video, this time about how My Little Pony is counterculture and the last fortress of light in a sea of darkness. Oh. You've probably noticed that in the media, well, things have taken, well, a very depressing tone. Particularly in one of my favorite movie franchises, Star Trek. And, unfortunately, Star Trek: Descent into Darkness. I really don't think there's much more that needs to be said by that title. Unfortunately, pretty much says it all right there. Yeah, Descent into Darkness. Bummer. Really, if I wanted to be depressed and see stories about us basically getting our butts kicked and losing and having the bad guys get one up on us and having the Enterprise crash into San Francisco, probably killing most of the crew, well, I'd turn on, cable news and watch that for a while and be depressed and remind myself just how terrible and how horrible our world is, and that sadly these kind of things in a way are happening every single day all around the world. So I'm very disappointed in that. And the other thing that's bad about this new Star Trek series, oh yes, by the way, yes, I am going to be probably spending a couple minutes beating on Star Trek and how unfortunately it's gone from a really positive, good series that had actual values and morals and stuff to, well, unfortunately, nothing. I will get back to My Little Pony, I promise. So anyway, Star Trek used to be about, moral dilemmas and things of that nature that in an interview one time on the Sci-Fi Channel Special Edition, the actress who played Uhura said, she told an interesting story that she, with a conversation she had with Gene Roddenberry, the person who created Star Trek. Basically, she went up to him and said, it's like, I see what you're doing. You are doing morality plays. And she went up to her and said, shh, they don't know it yet, but they will. And that pretty much sums it up. In the original show, they dealt with, it was true science fiction. It was, what if, dealing with current day issues, but with a sci-fi twist and looking at things that maybe we wouldn't have looked at before, and moral dramas and dilemmas and things of that nature. And this is why I do not like the last two Star Trek movies. I have to be honest, I have not actually seen the second one because, frankly, I don't want to spend a dime supporting these unfortunate movies, because I saw the first one and I saw clean through what it was trying to do. This was just trying to sell tickets by fancy special effects, action, violence, and unfortunately the trademarks that are Hollywood of when in doubt, use a multi-million-dollar computer and render something that's not real and mindlessly shoot and kill things. I must admit, it doesn't describe that movie entirely well, but frankly, this movie had no point, no plot, no nothing. This was not a Star Trek movie. This was simply an action movie with a Star Trek theme. I have a feeling I'm not going to make many friends with that, but that's honestly how I feel. I have a feeling the second movie, unfortunately, continues that tradition. And unfortunately, this is a tradition shared across all of Hollywood, and almost in a way all of culture that, sadly, I feel that our culture really doesn't stand for anything anymore. We're trying to be so politically correct and, not insult other people, and that we, in a sense, have no values. We don't have any morals. We don't stand for anything. And you could imagine that makes me very, very sad. And as I mentioned in a previous video, that I was watching TV one day and I saw 3 trailers for basically 3 end-of-the-world or disaster movies. And if you like those kind of movies, that's fine. But frankly, with everything that's going on, I just can't take this anymore. There's so many terrible things going on in our world right now, and it just simply feels like we're just powerless to do anything about it. I mean, I was playing Black Ops 2, and man, I like this plot, but at the same time, it makes me feel really sad. It doesn't make me feel like traditional Call of Duty games. I feel like the bad guys are always one step ahead, and they're kicking our butts. Even in the very end mission of the game, which is supposed to be the big the big triumph over the bad guys. Even the decision at the end of whether do you kill or capture the thing, it feels futile. No matter what you do, it feels like there's never a good ending. And again, this does not make me feel good. And then there's this show called My Little Pony. If you've watched several of my videos, you know that I really, really believe in and have honestly taken the values of this show to heart. And this is why I defend this place, this culture, this this society, this world that they've created. And that's the thing that's cool about My Little Pony, is that it is a land of rainbows and butterflies, but it's also a living, breathing culture. This culture is believable. The people are believable. Everything about Equestria is possible and believable. And everything works out, not simply because the writers say they do, but because the ponies come together to solve their problems, which is another problem in our world. I must admit, this is something I really liked about my Master Chief video, because although it was a really fun, silly video, it had a really good point in it, that in short, the ponies of Equestria simply come together to solve their problems, rather than sit in a room and argue pointlessly about it, or sit on the net and argue about it. They go out and do something about it, no matter how difficult or painful the situation may be. And that's just such an incredibly cool concept that I wish was simply true in our world. And again, I love My Little Pony so much because it's such a positive, and I must admit, happy show. But again, it doesn't feel this is simply forced. Everything works out in My Little Pony because of everything and all the decisions and everybody coming together and being there for each other. Best example of this is probably Magical Mystery Cure. All Twilight does in this episode is simply be there for her friends and help them, remind them what their friendship means to one another, and helps them to rediscover who and what they really are. And that was the whole point of that. It wasn't about Twilight flipping on a spell like she did in Return of Harmony. This was helping her friends to help discover themselves. And the scene with the parade at the end means a great deal to me, because you know what this is? This is a town celebrating this. Obviously, first it's celebrating them, all these terrible things no longer happening to them, but it's also celebrating these 6 friends coming back together and the town coming together and just being happy and grateful for that. And this is such a cool moment right there. Everyone in this community is being together and supporting one each other and just being happy and everything for that. I mean, that's such an awesome moment for me. And My Little Pony continues to prove and say to us that there are other ways, that we do not need violence always to solve problems. I mean, yes, can we defeat a foreign army with the power of love? Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, yes, there are unfortunately people that we have to shoot and kill and stuff like that. But, King Somber is defeated by, love and community and just happy, positive thoughts. And Luna was transformed from Nightmare Moon back into who she really was by the elements of harmony, aka the power and magic of friendship. And by Celestia saying, will you please accept my friendship, and stuff like that. And Discord finally learned how powerful and how meaningful and friendship could be, and turned this person who could only hurt people and turned him into someone that could frankly be, good, and maybe use his powers for good instead of evil, instead of hurting people. And all of these things, they're not unbelievable. They're not forced. They're not just simply, I say they work. They work because the power of love, community, friendship, and allowing people to be who and what they are, and helping them to discover how they can use their gifts to make a difference and make this world a better place. These are things that can transform people, that can defeat these difficult problems. That even when we're in darkness, these things can help us to find our way back to the light. And this is why My Little Pony is the last fortress of light that stands against the darkness that is frankly our world, and certainly the media. I don't know of any other show like My Little Pony, or any show for that matter, that has these great positive values in saying we can overcome these things. We don't have to give in to the darkness. We can make a better world. And shows that aren't mindlessly stupid or graphic or violent or sexual or frankly something you wouldn't want to show to a 6-year-old. My Little Pony can stand for so much and be so entertaining and uplifting and joyful and all of those things, but still teach a serious message that people of all ages can learn. I definitely think that there are things in My Little Pony that we can all learn from. That maybe we should have learned this a long time ago. Or maybe we simply need to be reminded of a lesson that we learned so long ago. When I started watching My Little Pony, I honestly expected that I would learn something. And I know that I was definitely right. And I hope that you will continue to watch the show and hopefully watch it not just as a piece of entertainment, but also as something that is clearly worthwhile and worth standing and defending for because of its values, and that it is the only thing out there that is willing to stand against the darkness that is our world and says, no, we will not give up. We will keep on fighting, but we will fight in our own way. We will fight not with fists or weapons, but with love and tolerance and community and friendship. And in the end, we will prevail. As long as all of those around us will continue to stand with us, we cannot fail. And this is why I will always stand and defend this show. This show to me will always be that last fortress of light, and I refuse to let it fall. And I hope you will not let it fall either. So this is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on, my friends.